What's up, everyone out there? Welcome back. It's Core Stats, powered by the Mayo Media Net, here on YouTube, presented by Jock MKT, the best brand new daily fantasy app. Wall Street meeting Main Street, meeting fattened pockets every single day. How about that for a novel idea? One of these apps where you can actually make money just for being smart. Welcome aboard, everybody, to the Mayo Media Net with your host, John Laghezza, the big dude with the big mouth from the Big Apple. Lots of new followers, lots of new listeners. Have to thank you all. And here we go. We're going to do it. It's the fastest show in MLB, absolutely anywhere, coming to you, I think, just about anywhere on the internet, man. You might be able to go check those premium cable stations and see if they can hang and roll with us. Me, you, the Cork Stats crew, coming to you with the 3 pillars of profit every day: daily, DFS, and Jock Market. Over to fantasy. On the Thursday show, we do 10, 12, and 15 team ads. We'll do a player, at least one, for every position in every one of those leagues. Again, if one person's going to do, the big dude is going to overdo, because that's just what we do, man. When you work this hard, it feels a lot less like luck when you end up winning. And then we got a couple bets or two. Man, the bets have been a little bit rough, but again, we like to set up sustainable procedural methodologies. I know it's a little bit boring, but that's how you stay in the game, betting the dime every day, looking for plus 500 to plus 600 odds. We hit 2 in the first 5, and now we're on a bit of a dry spell. We almost had it yesterday. Red Sox let it down. They were tied late. I did have a follower hit me up and ask me if they should hedge, and I was like, yeah, if the math works out, absolutely. Can't trust the Red Sox or the bullpen. Once you're ahead 2 or 3 legs in a parlay, and you could get any kind of black in the ledger, I'm always going to say to take it. All right, let's jump into the first pillar of profit. But first, every single day, we're going to do one reason why Jock Market is better than regular kind of standard DFS DraftKings kind of things, where obviously you need a 10-team parlay, which is nearly impossible. But if that's not enough, let's just look at yesterday's results. If you were hung with us yesterday, we had Pete Alonso, we had Juan Yepez, so we got a couple home runs. We seem to do pretty well, right? That seems to be par for the course. I have a ticket up here for the audio-only listeners. Please, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And, of course, like the video and subscribe to the channel here at MMN. You don't really need the ticket. The whole point of the details is the top half is green, the bottom half is red. That's all you need to know about the ticket. And I made I think 8% yesterday, which is funny because a lot of gamblers and have skewed expectations, and getting 8% in a night would be disappointing to them. They think it was flat. Making 8% is not flat, and if we do this all the time on a night where we really weren't very good in particular, that's how I turned the $20 promo into over 3K. This is how you do it. You got to just churn along. There are no jackpots, and not be greedy. All right, let's get up into the stacks today. We do have a limited slate, but I think we're going to get a little bit of scoring. Oh, one last thing I needed to do. Scheduling has been really crazy with MLB. Jock Market's trying to cater to all of these different slates, which I understand. So I'm going to be checking the slate in IPO times. I know it's been a bit confusing, but I do have them here today. So today, there's an early opening at 105, right? 105 IPO for 105 games. Nice and standard. The next one, 440 IPO for the 440 start, but that's going to cover the night game. So if you can remember to get some of these guys, sometimes the market is a bit soft. Lineups are not out, so I don't over-lever, but right, we kind of think about the balancing beam right there, where you're not paying full price because people are unsure if a guy's playing. You just turn down the amount of shares, and if we get the hit, then we get the hit. Remember, you don't have to go nuts in Jock Market. You buy one share of one player. We again match the $100 free. If it's free, it's for me. Use the code MMN when you download the app. The $100 is more than enough to get in the game and do some damage. That's the whole point here. I know for a fact we've had people do it because they've shown it to me. All right, let's get down into these stacks. We got just a couple today. We're looking for the Reds lefties against JT Brubaker, career 920 OPS against lefties, 12% walk, 46% fly ball year to date. That's how you get in trouble. So we're looking for Colin Moran and Tyler Naquin. I mean, listen, both of these guys just okay when they're okay. We like to strike while the iron is hot. I always tend to think of baseball production in terms of sine waves. People always shocked. The Pirates, they don't always stink, and the Reds don't always stink. Even the worst team is going to produce in clips. And when they start to stink, swinging and missing a ton, they're not walking or making good contact, then we discard them. But when bad teams are hitting well, that's the time to get it. Next up, Texas righties against Hazley. 90% in-zone contact with a 12% barrel rate in his very short career year-to-date. Can combine those two things. That's how you get in trouble, right? Lots of contact, lots of barrels. Those Texas righties, we're looking for Mitch Garver and Nick Solak. Like all these guys so far, they all should be pretty cheap. And when I say cheap, again, now I had the tweet out yesterday. I've just been over my skis. I really probably need a personal assistant to try and cover all the stuff we're doing. Again, the show here, Monday through Friday, is the foundation. It's where we begin to lay, the groundwork for everything for the day. But then you follow me on Twitter, MLB Moving Averages, at MLB Moving AVG on the Bird app. And me and everybody at Mayo Media Net going to just bring it to you all day, every day, doing the thing we do. And if there's anything missing, you hit me up and I'll get right at it. Starting pitcher ranks, apply team totals, running the algo. When I get to it, I do custom write-ups on the Patreon page, but you don't pay. It's free for you and me. All right, last up, KC lefties against Hearn in that same game. So when we're looking for targets in both games, we should immediately be thinking over. KC lefties against Hearn. He's had a really tough WOBA split, meaning, right, I'm always usually looking for how Arsenals react to different-handed pitchers. I've actually had an article about that coming out at The Athletic this week. So Hearn has really just struggled against both. A little bit of middle problem there, some location issues. He showed a flash, though, so not a gas can, but overall, maybe some more struggles ahead. 52% hard hit rate, that's via StatCast, so it's 95 miles an hour. So more than half of the balls that are made contact is at 95 miles an hour. 15% of those is a barrel, but we've only seen 1.25 home run per 9. That's the kind of math I look for regression on, right? When people kind of regress fly balls for indicators like xFIP, yes, I don't think that's a failed strategy. I just think there are lots of times when it really deserves a nuanced touch, and as I get older, I really think I'm learning everything in pitching deserves a nuanced touch. I think that's why I do so well at it, right? Maybe even so poor at hitting. I'm very open about my failures. In fantasy, my people usually do very well. In pitching, we're always the first to pick up on it. So let's that last split against Hearn, we're looking for anybody on KC that hits lefties. So Whit Merrifield just woke up yesterday again. Very good hitter. Just got it yesterday. Let's see if this turns into a breakout. If he's terrible, he goes 0 for 8, then you discard him. But we really like to be in recency as far as DFS. I really do. I think people have kind of misconstrued that into like chasing hot players. When I think I just have a different perspective, like as usual. It's kind of my thing. For me, hitting well means two things. It means healthy, it means timing. So what if we were to take OPS and instead of making like he's hot, we made it a health metric, right? The better your OPS is, the healthier you are, because I generally tend to think of pitchers being in control, right? Great pitching dominates great hitting. So my working theory is bad pitching gets punished, and that's pretty much it, right? So give me good pitching, and we're not going to have hitting. And the flip side, bad pitching is going to get punished by good hitters, even if they're maybe struggling to touch. So I don't know if I really verbalize that properly. We're trying to do so much. Sometimes we're trying to squeeze 5 bags of ish into a 3-pound bag. All right, so that's the first pillar. We're looking for Cincy lefties, Texas righties, KC lefties. If you notice, these are all nighttime games. For the listeners that are downloading later on and listening on the commute, I really hate recommending stuff in the afternoon. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up. We could do the afternoon stuff on the side. Consider that like a luxury item. All right, let's dive into the fantasy stuff. Again, we're going to do waivers. Let's go around the board. The big dude working around the clock for you guys out there, those ladies and gentlemen, fans of the Mayo Media Net. So you see I made a nice little graphic up there, but I will walk you through it for the audio-only podcast people out there. I've been trying to cater to everybody. It isn't possible, but I really am trying to do my absolute best there. I'm having this filter problem in there, so I'm going to actually hide myself. You don't have to see my ugly mug. Bye, Johnny. I got to work on some properties. Matt, sorry about that, man. I've been cleaning up. I don't know, working different programs, people. Live TV is what it is. All right, let's get into this ad edition by position. And I wanted to do 10, 12, and 15 again. Really trying to cater to as many people as possible. There's head-to-head people in here. There are roto people in here, both ads and players. So let's start behind the dish. Jonah Heim, Ryan Jeffers, MJ Melendez. Now listen, adding in 10-team catcher leagues is really tough. I really think you should be streaming, looking for whatever catcher is hitting, making contact, and getting plate appearances. I tend to like Jonah Heim. I've been kind of pushing him up slowly, but as other catchers getting added, you see Jeffers in there, always a pop for some home runs, really all you could ask for from a catcher. And then MJ Melendez getting the call up. Not exactly sure what we're going to get, but again, there's some potential. And if you're streaming catchers, I think you could do a lot worse than having a catcher that could stick. I think that's also a very important part of streaming, let's say, is thinking about the downstream, right? Thinking about the entire battlefield and whether or not that player can actually stay on your team, and maybe even foregoing 1 week of lesser production for somebody you think might stick. That's generally my thing. And it works in pitchers. We'll talk about it a bit in a minute. Generally, people are chasing 2 starters. I'm not, because that has nothing to do with how good the pitcher is. The 2 start is a function of the schedule and not a pitcher that I want. So I feel like if I'm streaming solely based on scheduling, then I probably made a mistake somewhere else. That's just me. We've talked about this. My strategy and what I suggest to you going forward, if you're following us along season to season, would be load up on pitchers. Get your hitters early and get hitters that don't need to be streamed. Again, there's a lot of platooning going on. And then pitchers, by definition, are platooned, right? Get lots of them and be able to pick and choose your spots of better quality pitchers. I don't know. That's just me. All right, let's start behind the backstop. Like I said, Heim, Jeffers, Melendez, really more about opportunity than anything. Let's get over to first base. Juan Yepez, who I loved coming into draft season. Hat tip to dead pull hitter Steve Weimer, talking about that stuff, during Christmas time when no one else is paying attention. I have a ton of Juan Yepez. He's played himself into a starting role. I don't think he's going anywhere. The Cardinals struggling to hit right-handers, not Yepez. He looks really good. Second on the list is Josh Naylor. You basically, Naylor damn near killed her. You got to add him absolutely everywhere just to see if it sticks. Remember, top flight prospect only, age 24. We love the post hype guys. Last up, Yandy Diaz, to give you an idea of who 15-teamers are adding. All the players on the bottom of these lists are players that were available in very competitive 15-team leagues. So whether or not you're playing in those leagues, I think you might have something to learn for it. I know some home leaguers of mine, friends and stuff, that have asked about jumping into NFBC. They wonder about it, how intimidating it is, and what the game might be like. So I'm giving you an idea of what those ad lists will look like. So if you're stuck for a first baseman, you're adding Yandy Diaz. Again, you could do worse. I mean, he's playing every day, but obviously there are some flaws in the game. All right, over to second base. Andres Jimenez, a player we highlighted weeks ago to pick up before the breakout. Now looks like he is really a part of that offense right now. Amed Rosario looking awful. Also, Brandon Drury, who's popped up on the advanced stat leaderboard show that we've been doing. Now we're going 2 times a week. Tuesday we did pitchers, Wednesday we did hitters, and I'm diving through more recent advanced stat leaderboards, pointing at hitters and pitchers that stuck out. We were on Drury a couple weeks ago, and the last guy on that list, Michael Chavis, who we were also on, he kind of slowed up a bit, but in 15-team leagues, that's all he ever was. I think, again, you could do much worse at the Let's dive over to the shortstop. There again, you see Andres Jimenez, Royce Lewis, and again, Elvis Andrus, where you're holding your nose and adding him if you need help. But I think he bat third yesterday for Oakland. Again, we mentioned bad teams being okay at times. Right now, Andrus is playing average, batting third for a major league team, and that will do it in a 15-team league. That's about all the boxes we could ask possibly to be checked. So Jimenez, Royce Lewis, not sure. Correa sounds like he'll be okay. And the assumption is Lewis is going back. However, in something like a 12-team league where there is somewhat of a decent replacement value, you add a guy like Lewis in case he goes nuts, in case he sticks. You want the valuable piece. You can always go get a week-to-week shortstop streamer out there on the wire in 12-team leagues. Absolutely. All right, over to third base, hot corner, Brandon Drury at the top again. He's really got to be added in all formats. I think he's only 28. This guy's been around seemingly for 100 years. And him too, tons of shine. Had trouble with opportunities, had some trouble with injuries. I know the Yankees really liked him, and right before the season started, either last season or the one before, he ended up getting hurt. There's potential in there, and we've seen it. All the opportunities you could ask for in the very best ballpark, right? One of the ballparks that seems to be greater than sign, the mush ball, lead ball, dead ball would be getting served up, and Brandon Drury everywhere. 12-team teams. I think Sheldon Noisy in Roto in particular is playing himself into viability, where you can getting average, which is very tough to come by right now, and stolen bases, which are also always tough. Last up at third would be Colin Moran. All the stuff we said about Drury, but kind of toned down a bit for Moran, more of the old veteran. But we know he has got some pop in the bat, and he's playing every day. That's your infield. Into the outfield we go. Alek Thomas, superstar for the Diamondbacks, is called up, hit a home run. Love to see prospects producing early. Some guys just have what it takes, have the patience, or are ready for that initial adjustment, and then we'll see the game and the punching and counter-punching happen down the road. But for right now, Alek Thomas, Alek with a K on the Diamondbacks, got to be added. Josh Naylor, Yadiel Hernandez, really playing out of his shoes, but getting all the ops you could ask for in Washington. Also, something people hate to think about because there isn't a stat for it on Savant, but he's spending a lot of time around Juan Soto and Nelson Cruz. Last I checked, man, those guys are really good. Now, I'm not saying it's osmosis, but you're watching the process. You're watching how they get it done, and then you're watching them produce. Just saying, Yadiel Hernandez should be owned in formats. Boy, Reza Ramon, the bad guy, oozing. Machismo, he went off yesterday. Love Reza Ramon. Add him everywhere before people get hot to trot on him. Next up, Harrison Bader on the Cardinals. Again, the Cardinals starting to shift it around, move guys around because they're struggling on offense after flying out of the box. Bader looking good, checking all the boxes in Roto as well. Not sure if he's really a head-to-head guy just yet. Keep an eye on him. Next up, Jorge Mateo, more of a Roto play, but I've been playing him everywhere. I know people are really crushing him because you're not getting a lot of the other stuff, but if the average is going to be there, scoring runs and stealing bases, you could do worse. Next up, Pavin Smith. He was part of the advanced stat leaderboard the other day. He's really starting to ring up a lot of the board against the field. Really like what I'm seeing from Smith. People are very slow right now to correct to Arizona because, yes, they stink, but the park is playing to the ball. They have a few guys getting just enough done. In fact, I'm just noticing it now. Arizona is probably the most popular team on offense on the board, right? Pavin Smith. Next up, Josh Rojas. After that, David Peralta. These guys are playing. These guys are producing. Last would be Jarren Duran. The play here with Duran is probably more in 15-team leagues where people are disgusted with him and the usage, but Boston stinks. I expect him to get the call. You can add him now for nothing, and if he does get the call, he's a 3-digit ad. And if it's $100 league, it's a double-digit ad. Point being, he's more than 10% of your budget, probably more than that, because I think the next call up is the one that sticks. So outfield, Alek Thomas, Naylor, Yadiel Hernandez, Ramon Laureano, Bader, Jorge Mateo, Pavin Smith, Josh Rojas, David Peralta, and Jarren Duran. Again, I think we got something for everybody there, every format, every type of league. Let's jump into the pitchers. Now, a lot of these guys, if you want to learn more about, the best advice I have is just follow the Patreon page. When I do the write-ups on these guys every day, we do advanced little mini dives. Really, hat tip. Thanks again every day to Pat Mayo and my boy Matty Best, the guys behind the curtain that allow me to bring all this stuff to you. Yeah, I'm a Tasmanian devil, going absolutely nuts. One-man band banging the bass drum with the harmonica and all that stuff. But, man, I needed the support and the belief, and those guys did it for me. Let's jump into the pitchers. It's Kirby. Everyone is going to be blowing their brains out for him in Fab, and you know what? I get it. I'm kind of making my own plan right now. Josh Winder for Minnesota. He has a spark tag in certain leagues, but outside that, Archer got beat up. I think Winder will stick. Add him everywhere. Tyler Anderson's been good in the Dodgers. A little bit boring, but I think he's going to be good. The Dodgers always improving pitchers as well. Chad Kuhl, we were on him a couple weeks ago, lighting up the advanced stat leaderboard. Granted, he's in Colorado, but you're going to get something. Martin Perez also lighting up the board, who we mentioned. Going to be boring, going to be vanilla, but right now pitching is tough. He's getting it done as far as ratios. Reed Detmers I liked before. Of course, I benched him for a no-hitter, which is what it is. Paulie Blackburn, the Pirate, is getting it done. He's getting swings and miffs on tops of the ground balls and the double plays. These guys are viable right now. Sinker ballers, ground ballers are getting some whiffs. They're looking good. Max Meyer is your stash on the Marlins everywhere. Top stash on this list is Max Meyer. Then Yusei Kikuchi looking really good. Shut down the Yankees. I think they've been working on a new mix. I have to dive in myself a bit, but Kikuchi looking good. We know there's ceiling there. We know Walker in Toronto has fixed lefties with Robbie Ray just last year. Dean Dunning viable. I like Caprillion a bit more because I think there's some more swing and miss in there. Kyle Bradish for the Orioles. Again, people holding their nose, but the Orioles are reaching into viability with the pitching front organization. It's not an accident when Jordan Lyles and Bruce Zimmerman and Bradish are all looking good. I suggest you look back at Bradish's entire body of work this season back into the minor leagues. He has been downright dominant. I added Bradish in the 12 team. I had to cut him due to injuries, but that's where I think he is. He's right on that outskirts. Again, I like to go with volume in pitching, but it's got to be quality. If I'm adding him, he checks lots of boxes. Count on that. Then a couple relievers at the end. Jarren Duran on the Twins. If he's not added, Rowan Wick, because David Robertson is on the IL. I think it might be COVID, which is really undescribed. We've seen some of those stints last. We've seen others not. So in the time being, I think he's got a couple saves. Looks like the baby Bears will be going to Wick. You add him for now. Danny Jimenez maybe out in Oakland, just throwing names out there. I forgot to add him to the list, but he'd be another guy to be looking at. All right, let's get into some bets. We did drop that one yesterday for whatever reason. I don't know. The video on this one seems to work. I don't know what's going on, everybody. What am I going to do? I'm probably copy and pasting something stupid. All right, got the first look parlay up here again. If you are a singles bettor, I know some people don't really like parlays, but myself, I don't really like. Well, one, I refuse to recommend something I don't bet myself. So I bet all this stuff, but I can't bet full units, which for me are 1% of stack, and I'm not kind of a high stakes bettor. So I can't bet a full unit until I do my entire process. And that takes a lot of time. We still have lineups and stuff that have to come out, and there's weather concerns and things like that I really like to make sure I have my thumb on it. So in the morning, I don't mind getting behind these plays as a parlay where I all think that they're viable standalone, but I also think we're going to get some closing line value. So if you're not into parlays, I believe these all are viable. And I think we'll get 2 of 3, in which case it'll be profitable, back to what I said at the very beginning, where I refuse to do something that I won't do. I also must do something that I truly believe is sustainable. Man, I wish I was keeping track. We might even be up on these parlays, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the point, right? You should, and a lot of people tell you, you can't be ahead on a parlay strategy, and I beg to differ. You can be if you're responsible. And if the darn Red Sox got it done yesterday, we absolutely would be ahead, and that's how you do it. So we got Cincinnati Reds with the full game. Over 10, I have greater than sign on Brubaker. Digging the Reds offense right now. I know, again, for the time being. Next up, Philadelphia, plus 125. Only time you're going to see Zach Wheeler as a pretty decent underdog. I know he's against the Dodgers, but they lose games too. They just lost to the Pirates. They certainly could lose to the Phillies. And then Casey in Texas 08. This is my over total of the day. I just can't. I was on VSiN yesterday just scratching my head yelling about this stuff. I don't get these totals at all. We went over Hearn. We went over Hazley. This should not be a total of 8. It just should not. It just shouldn't be. That's just not the case. I don't really understand where these totals are kind of coming from. They're really a mistake. I'm looking at the bullpens right now. Casey bullpen really hasn't been very good. One of the worst of the season. 4.6 ERA, 1.45 WHIP, plus 85% in zone contact rate. Not really good. Texas bullpen, the ERA looks good last 7, but they haven't been good. They have a 12% walk rate on the year and the worst home run rate in the league at 1.5. So, I mean, I'm not, that's just a little bit of kind of quick bullpen stuff, but it's the truth. Those things matter. They give up home runs. This should not be an 08. So I think this 8 becomes an 8.5. Make sure that we're keeping an eye on our CLV, because again, win or lose, we do like to gauge our assessment of the market by how these prices move, right? So there's multiple kind of gauges going on, and it's not to make up excuses if you lose. That's really not the point of this, but there is another way outside of outcomes, which are kind of stupid, right, at the end of the day. But all right, everybody, good luck with this. Remember, we're packing Cincinnati, plus 110, Philadelphia, plus 125. KC, Texas, 08. These are all full game. Minus 120. That's a plus 766. We're betting 1/10 of a unit. So that's 1/10 of 1% of our stack to win 0.77. And that will do it, everybody, from John Laghezza, the big dude. All right, everybody. I think that'll do it we're up against it as far as time. I really could have this show probably be an hour and a half every single day. There's just so much that I would want to share, right? We do just the numbers. I'd like to break down every single game and show you how we do this stuff. It's my life. It's what I live for. Truly a passion, and I hope that you feel it, the same way that I do, because my time is absolutely precious, and I like to think that yours is the same. That's why I cram so much into this show. So get out there with the stacks. We got daily stacks, right? We're looking for Cincinnati lefties, Texas righties, Royal lefties. We got a couple bets on the board. We're going over KC, Texas. We got the Philly win, and we've got another Reds win, and we're going 8-fold on that bet. So rate, review, and subscribe to the audio pod. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Download the Jock Market app. Use the code MMN. Get the free $100. Hit me up. We are making money. Do not scoff at 8%. If you make 8, 10, 12%, right? Slowly. We do end up having nice days. It may not be $1 million jackpot, but we do have slam dunk days. You've seen it. We have the tickets on Twitter to prove it. Just be within yourself. Don't over-lever. Be responsible. Bet small. Bet smart. And then at the end of the day, you'll be cashing those tickets. That's how we do it, man. So enjoy the games. Enjoy your day. When we're done with the book, enjoy that pay, everybody. Man, I catch you on the flip side, all right? Peace.